If you're a lover of Nigeria, you should be excited about what is about to happen. This is what many of us have been saying or wishing for since the turnover of the 2023 elections, which is a coming together of the opposition leaders into one house to becoming one force. Because the truth of the matter is that a country where there's a weak opposition, it's almost a country that is into dictatorship or an autocratic government, like we are seeing right now, whereby the man at the center is trying to turn the country before us into a one-party state. And when you see the brazenness at which he is doing this, you'll be wondering whether this man was even the popular candidate. It is important we put context and put facts before Nigerians that in the history of elections in Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the man that have ascended the seat of presidency with the lowest numbers of votes ever. Important we put this to context. In the history of Nigerian presidential elections, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the person to emerge as presidency, rigged or not rigged, with the lowest numbers of votes ever. In other words, he is the most unpopular president in the history of Nigeria ever. This is not me hating him. This is not based on sentiments. This is based on facts or numbers released by INEC, even though we know fully well that his numbers were exaggerated so high so that they could give him that seat. Even with the exaggeration of the number, he is still the least popular candidate in the history of Nigeria. In fact, he did not win the election by popular votes. He won the election because the opposition were divided. Let us look at the numbers to put more context to what I'm saying here. According to INEC reports, the final presidential election results, we had 93,469,008 Nigerians that registered as voters, and over 87 million collected their PVCs. And INEC accredited 25 plus million voters. So we had total valid vote cast was 24 million votes. And in that elections, Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged, according to INEC, with 8.7 million votes, followed by Atiku with 6.7 million votes. So approximately Tinubu passed Atiku with 2 million votes, according to INEC. Obi emerged third, according to INEC, with 6.1 million votes. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu passed Atiku with 2 million votes and passed Obi with 2.6 million votes, according to INEC. Then Kwankwaso came in at distant fourth with approximately 5 million votes. Then the likes of so many other people before the noise-making Sowore came in with a distant 14,000 votes. 14,000. Even SUG president for university, they get past that one. But that's not the why we're here today. Let's talk about serious issues. And so if you put in context the vote counts of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Peter Obi, and Kwankwaso, you'll be having approximately 12, 13, approximately 15 million votes to Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 8.7 million votes. Atiku was said to have won 12 states. Tinubu was said to have won 12 states. Peter Obi was said to have won 12 states, and with the FCT, Kwankwaso won 1 state. If you put this in context, it means Atiku's 12 plus Peter Obi's 12 is 24. Plus Kwankwaso 1 is 25 states to Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 12 states. I want Nigerians to understand that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not win the elections because he was popular or that Nigerians liked him or voted for him. No, he won it because the opposition were divided. So if this opposition were united in 2023, I've just shown you the numbers. They would have done almost double his votes of 8 million votes, 8.7 million votes, with the combination of Atiku, Obi, Kwankwaso's vote was close to 16 million already. That's already a double of his vote and a double of his states that INEC gave him. So what's happening today is actually great news, seeing Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Alhaji Kwankwaso, and Mr. Peter Obi all coming together under one umbrella for the next elections. Hopefully, for me, I want Peter Obi to be at the top of the ticket. And I hope they can come to a consensus to understand that they all have to be united going forward. Their base have to understand this also, that they all have to be united going forward. I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to agree on certain things you said or you do, or your ways, but it is important to understand that Tinubu's continuous reign in Nigeria is an existential threat to the survival of democracy in the country. Because what we are seeing right now is a man that is so desperate to hold on to power, a man that is so desperate to destroy the fabrics of democracy, which is a system whereby people should be allowed to campaign and vote. Look at what Tinubu has done to all the major parties. He has destroyed all the parties. Look at what the drunkard Wike is doing in PDP. Look at how he used the drunkard Wike to destroy PDP. The same way he used the drunkard Julius Abure and Apapa to destroy LP. Currently, they are trying to say they can destroy ADC. For Tinubu, it is not democracy. This is not how a country that is meant to survive cannot survive with such a man at the center. If you have done so well for the people, you should be able to put out your good works for Nigerians to see and say, we appreciate your good works and we'll campaign for you. Look, I always use Alex Otti as an example. I'm not from Abia State. But you see it on social media. You know this is not paid campaign. You see the people of Abia every single day making videos. In fact, it is not content to make videos from Abia because people are rushing it. Good governance, you don't need to propaganda to. You don't need rice. If Tinubu, you have done well, Nigerians will reward you. Nigerians are not the difficult people to please. I say this all the time. Nigerians are not the difficult people to please. The barest minimum is what Nigerians ask for. Give us the barest minimum. Give us, like you campaigned that in 4 years will be 4 years. You must give us light. You now want to see campaign on light again for another 4 years? Do you think we are all crazy like your supporters? You think we don't? What have you done in the 4 years we gave you? The same thing you campaigned. In fact, you have made life more difficult for us. Nigerians are missing Buhari. Do you understand what it means for Nigerians to miss Buhari? Tinubu, you have been an abject disaster. And so any sane mind, any sane Nigeria is going to reject you. And it will be woeful. So if you like, gather 36 over 36 governors. Your time is up. You're going to be a one-term president. Because the mandate that you even took that does not belong to you, you could not even use it. How do you want us to reward you again? There is no reward for failure in Nigeria. We cannot reward you. We cannot reward your party that met petrol at 87 naira. APC came into power in 2015. Petrol, they campaigned on that petrol was expensive at 87 naira. Do you understand the madness? In 12 years' time, APC took petrol from 87 naira to over 1,000 plus. Some places are buying 1.4 for petrol, 1 liter, in a country that produces oil and gas. Come on, man. Come on, sir. With all due respect, your time is up. Please pack your load and go. Use this next few months and steal as you can steal. Pack as you can pack, no problem. But either you give us back our country or we'll take it by force. You have tried your best. Your best is not good enough. Allow sensible people come in and save this ship that you already sunk. So please, Nigerians, you have not registered in ADC. Please go and register in ADC as much as possible. Let's save our country. Thank you.
Politics is a very, it's a very tricky game. At times I look at it, the way we play here, I've been unserious. You know, this same person that the Commission for Information and then an appointee of Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State, who everybody knows that without the NNPP and Kwankwaso and Kwankwaso support, he could not have been governor. Everybody knows that, very simple. You don't even need to be in Kano to know Kano before you know that. It's a fact that everybody knows. We know how the Kwankwaso Senator Kwankwaso and the Kwankwaso Mojo fought tooth and nail to protect him. In the last election in 2019, we knew how they fought for him, and in the end, he didn't make it through. In fact, he was manipulated out. Many people thought he won the election. Yes, including myself, because for every indication, it seems he won the election. And in the end, Ganduje being the incumbent and others have their way at the end of it. And now, the same man and group fought to make him governor. And I wonder if politicians can ever build on trust and relationship. Okay, and well, consistency and also. And they're looking at everything, whether anybody likes to be for. In fact, I saw the Kano people in Abuja over the weekend for the APC convention. They were still wearing the red cap. Majority of them. And some of them are still saying Kwankwaso. I observed them around the streets of Lagos, I mean streets of Abuja and around. Looking at this development before we maybe go into the other angle to it, from the analysis here so far, and then the issue of Kwankwaso moving into ADC, whether it's about issue of NNPP, because NNPP was almost non-existent until Senator Kwankwaso joined the NNPP. And brought it to life. He was life giver to NNPP. Just like Mr. Peter Obi gave life to Labour Party. Good. So, and just like Tinubu and co gave life to APC. Yes. So, the issue of trying to undermine the importance or the influence of a very big player like Kwankwaso in Kano and Nigerian politics by the commissioner, I think is something that he should think more reasonably, because I think something serious is actually happening in Kano. And I think what they're trying to do, they are jittery. And I think what they're trying to do is to cover up their fears, you know, because whether they like it or not, Kwankwaso is a big player, a big influencer that can move the voting or the politics of Kano to whatever direction he belongs.
Okay.
Whether he wins or not, everybody should acknowledge it, whether you are in the opposition or not. In fact, when they were still together, wasn't praising Kwankwaso as leader, everybody leader, including governor. Now because they're now having differences, everybody now, I mean, we politicians should even learn to know that principle, ideology, trust, and consistency really matters.
Good. Well, you just talked about the APC convention and glimpses of it, which you were part of, I think, or you saw.
Yeah.
Now, the high point, one of the high point of that convention, which took place on Friday, was the speech by Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yeah.
And he talked about a number of things. It's more or less like his scorecard, and for which he felt he deserved to be, the party deserved to be re-elected, and he, as the leader of the party, as the presidential, will be the presidential flag bearer, which I believe is going to be just a matter of this thing. He made a lot of speeches. He made a lot of points in his speeches. The usual issue about how the economy has, the reform has come up. The usual things about one key issue that he talked about was that he was in favor of a robust opposition. But again, we see what is happening. Almost 3/4 of the entire governors in this country have moved to APC.
3/4?
Governors.
More than 3/4. Is it not about 90% now?
Okay, that's what I said. Well, when I said 3/4, I'm just being
far more than 3/4.
Yeah, I'm being conservative.
Yeah.
But then, on one hand, the president, who is basically the beneficiary of this development, is now telling you and I that that we should not be afraid. Come on, don't be afraid. There will be one party. But what we're seeing, it's a different thing altogether. What can you say about that?
Even the Senate president in his own speech said that by Wednesday, that the APC is likely going to have 33 governors.
That means only 3 governors will be...
That is in the Senate president's statement.
Okay.
When he made his own speech.
Yes.
That he was commending others that have constituted a progressive party, and then he's believing very strongly by Wednesday, that there may be, instead of 31, there may be 33.
So effectively, there will be only 3 governors out of
APC.
And that's Alex Oti in Abia, Makinde
of Oyo State, and Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State,
and Charles Soludo.
Charles Soludo is an APC man. APC in Abgawea.
In Abgawea.
Yes, he's an APC man.
So which means
the president. In fact, let me tell you, if you talk about the issue,
what about Oti? Oti too should be another APC.
Oti is still an independent man.
But he said he was going to support the APC. I mean,
Mr. President, you know what? He is under very terrible pressure as a current now, and then the main force behind the Labour Party, P2B, is out. So at the national level, he doesn't have protection, and they may not have a candidate.
Especially with the likes of Oju Okalu bearing down on his neck.
The kind of pressure they are mounting on him with Oju Okalu and the deputy speaker on the right honorable Kanu.
But he was joined in the APP. So, he was joined. He has the likes of Abaribe, who appear to be, pally with him. So why should he be afraid?
Abaribe has moved to
ADC, yes, but
Abaribe is still supporting him.
Yes.
Now, the issue here is that, let me go back to Mr. President's speech.
Okay, yeah,
on the issue of one-party state. Mr. President, as a position, had done exceedingly well, better than any other position since the independence of Nigeria in 1960.
In what way are you talking
No position has become more successful in acquiring political power, scheming, designing, strategizing, networking, in building very robust political machinery and network. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there's nobody that had networked political movement and development better than he has ever done. He's the most successful person ever. And he's the type of person that since he became the governor of Lagos State, he knew where he was going. He was strategizing, plotting, networking, lying down patiently, doling out so many goodwill and so many loyalty to so many people. Supporting those that were having issues. But
that is a red flag, isn't it? Because if we've never had a situation where this country, had something like a one-party state.
Yes.
So it's not dangerous. It's not dangerous.
We have never had. The issue is that the style of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a type of political strategy that is domineering, that is compelling and compulsive. And
coercive.
Coercive maybe.
Silently coercive, isn't it?
Good. Maybe quietly coercive. Now, looking at the whole setting, I'll tell you, me personally, on his own side, is political success. In fact, he is guiding and guarding his territory because he wants to go back for second tenure. Therefore, he's doing everything when possible, overtly and covertly, to control the political space. Because what happened in 2023 with the Obedient movement, the Labour Party, Peter Obi, without a single governor or federal house member or senator or whatever, any elected or appointed person, was a very big eye-opener and a disruptor in the political system of Nigeria. If that could happen within a few months, when Peter came out, imagine he had been seen after he lost the election in 2003. He'd been 2023. He'd been screaming, permutating, moving around, networking, mobilizing, and all that. So any careful watcher will know that Peter Obi still remains the biggest threat to in 2027 presidential election. And I think that APC and election for OPC are not actually losing sleep about that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of people, for instance, the other day, Buba Galadima of NNPP said, look, yes, we've had situations in this country where, you know, a certain political party, the ruling political party had preponderant number of governors, but he still lost the election. He's talking about APC in 2015. And now he's saying that, look, if the party that the president belongs to, the ruling party, is not scared of what he's doing, then why should he go to the unprecedented step of trying to quietly coerce, you know, and that even Buhari did not coerce anybody into the party. He said, look, I'm leaving the whole thing as a Democrat. A military man, a military dictator is behaving in a more democratic way than a supposed Democrat who is saying that, look, I'm not, in his speech, I'm not in favor of one party system. If you look at the speech of Mr. President, he's made it very clear, he's not coercing, not doing that. People are seeing the good work he's doing and are coming in to comprehend, to compliment him in the progressive agenda towards a renewed hope, a better Nigeria. That's a spin. That's a spin, isn't it? Yeah, but the fact remains this: either covertly or overtly, the ruling APC in Nigeria has become a kind of a behemoth, and I am worried about multi-party democracy in Nigeria. You're worried about multi-parties? I am worried about the death of it. No matter what anybody says, this is my own personal opinion. I'm worried about the death of multi-party democracy in Nigeria. Which this is what we're saying. What the fear of everybody. But one thing that also gives me a kind of a hope in that direction is what happened in 2023. If a P2B with his grassroots movement could win the states where governors were, even in Anambra, where the ABGA was the alter ego. In Rivers, including Rivers State, you won overwhelming Rivers State, Delta State, Imo State, Ebonyi. In fact, almost all the southeast and south state in that election, he almost won all. And those that perhaps maybe he could have. Yes. Now, it also tells us that you do not really need governors to win elections, except where the democratic will of the people is subverted. When the will of the people is not subverted, because let me tell you, governors can be more popular when they are contesting election than when they are on seat. Because when they are on seat, most of the things they promised, they will not achieve them. They have not delivered. They have not delivered it. People are hungry. People are unhappy. People are hot. Now, people are feeling bad. Let me give you this. Not delivered most of the things they want to deliver. Let me give you the scenario. Let me give you this scenario, please, because it's very important. We have Peter Obi with his following, Obedient. There are people who are. He's still very strong with his supporters. We have El-Rufai, who, of course, you saw, you know, the gathering that came to his mother's burial, and the people who are gravitating towards him. He's a very, very, you know, strong. Somebody you cannot, you know, dismiss. And in fact, the events of the past 1 month has even garnered more support for him, more sympathy for him. We have Amechi. You know, another, you know, a politician you cannot ignore. Whatever it is you may think about, you may say, okay, yes, this and that is happening, but it's somebody you cannot ignore. And then you have Atiku. You know, Atiku himself has a lot of political, you know, capital in this country. And then you have Kwankwaso. Now, all of this together are coming under the ADC or come under a coalition of political, you know, heavyweights. And don't you think, and each of them really can make the difference. I mean, if they get together, they can make the difference. So don't you think that Tinubu's, I mean, the governors moving in to the APC can, are just, it's just a matter of optics?
Well, optics
than substance.
Optics there, but I say serious sometimes because power of equipment plays a very big role. For example, in the last governorship election in Anambra State, November 25 governorship election in Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo and Abga, who have been the ruling party in Anambra State for too long, despite the power of incumbency, lost the grassroots support of the people. But he won the election because of the power of incumbency and support of the federal incumbency power against the APC that was never liked by the people prior to that. But the man that was given the ticket of APC in Anambra State, that's President Dr. Nicholas Okachukwu Ikoma, was a man, a very influential person that was liked. He was just like the Kwankwaso of Kano in Anambra State. So when he took out the ticket, the governorship ticket of APC in Anambra State, APC turned around, and within a space of 3 to 4 months, APC became the dominant grassroots political party accepted in Anambra State. Before then, if you wear APC thing, they start throwing you stones. All this anti-Igbo, Fulani party, so they will start saying so many people, you cannot even come out. Your mother will not even vote for you. But because of this man and so many people decamped, almost half of Africa decamped into APC. Labour Party, ADC, YPP moved into APC because you can the dominant.
Okay, before we don't have much time.
Individuals influence so much. The likeness of the president in Nigeria more than political parties. So the gravitation of governors, maybe because they are afraid of the power and the political style of Mr. President, or because they feel that they will be more comfortable and will be returned if they are in the ruling party, or for whatever reason they are doing that. It is good for the party because the APC is good for APC as a party because it becomes stronger. In fact, APC has become the strongest party that Nigeria has ever produced since independence.
But in terms of dominance. Much stronger than PDP, much stronger than NPN.
PDP had how many states then?